Most men believe attraction is about having the right lines, the perfect jokes, or even just good looks. But what if the single biggest thing that kills her interest is your very attempt to create it? And it sounds strange, but the problem isn't your interest. The problem is the confusion your signals create. From a woman's perspective, when she's not sure what you want, how you truly feel, or where this is going, that initial spark of attraction dies. Confusion is the ultimate attraction killer. This video is going to give you the system to eliminate that confusion for good. Because what actually works isn't about playing cool. It's about sending a clear, confident message. It's a complete system I call the secure signal framework. And it's the one thing that separates men who create lasting attraction from those who just create uncertainty. Now let's break down exactly how it works. If confusion kills attraction, creating clarity is the fix, and that's the secure signal framework. Secure because, from a woman's perspective, it gives her emotional safety. When you text, "I'd like to take you out Friday at 7," she can relax and stop guessing what you mean. Signal because your intention cuts through the noise of mixed messages. And framework because this isn't a random set of lines. It's a repeatable system you can rely on. This is the opposite of manipulation or playing a character. It's about expressing the confident, decisive man you already are. In language women can read, these signals only work when they match what you feel and you're prepared to stand behind. That's what separates them from manipulative game tactics. Attraction spikes when your words and actions clearly communicate confidence, direct intent, and emotional stability. As a woman, I can tell you clarity is masculine and it's rare, and that rarity is why it hits so hard. The framework uses 8 types of phrases or signals that make a woman feel safe, seen, and genuinely desired. When you use them, you create the kind of attraction that shows up in her behavior. She replies faster, invests more in the conversation, and is more open to seeing you again. As you listen, notice where your clarity breaks down. Before we dive into the 8 signals, which has been more frustrating? The playing it cool attempt that fizzles out, or the what do I even say paralysis? Tell me in the comments. Next, we'll break down all 8 signals, one by one. But we'll start with the first 3, the foundation of attraction. Get these right and everything else falls into place. Pay attention because the first signal we're about to cover is the one most men get wrong, usually out of fear. When you miss it, it stops attraction dead in its tracks. That first signal is direct intent. From a woman's perspective, vagueness is not mysterious. It's a burden. Suddenly she's the one having to guess whether you even like her, whether this is a date, and how much to invest without looking foolish. When you text, "We should hang out sometime." It sounds casual to you, but to her it's a question mark. Is this friendly? Romantic? Is she supposed to plan it? The secure signal takes that weight off her shoulders. "I'd really like to take you out. Are you free this week?" Now she knows exactly where you stand and what you're offering, so she can relax and just respond. Over text, you might say, "I'd like to take you for a drink this weekend. Are you free Friday or Saturday?" Same energy, clear invitation, clear time frame, and you're leading. One study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that when people are straightforward like this about romantic interest, both men and women see it as much more effective. The big reason is simple. Clear intent removes the uncertainty that quietly drains attraction. Next, we need to upgrade how you compliment her. Most guys default to the lazy stuff, "You're so hot," or a fire emoji on every selfie. It might give her a 1-second ego hit, but it also tells her you'd say that to anyone. The secure signal focuses on who she is, not just what she looks like. You have a really calming energy. "I like the way you think about things," or over text after a good conversation. "Talking to you is weirdly grounding. I like your vibe." This is the difference between being looked at and being truly seen. When a woman feels seen like that, she opens up more, she invests more in the conversation, and she actually wants to make time to see you again. Psychology backs up what women already feel. In a study published in Frontiers in Psychology, women reacted much more positively when their personality or mindset was praised, compared to compliments on looks alone. Those deeper compliments even made the guy himself seem more physically attractive, because she started associating him with how good she felt about herself. The last piece of this foundation is emotional stability, showing her you're interested but not desperate or in a rush. From a woman's perspective, neediness feels unsafe. If you sound like your whole mood depends on how fast this goes, she has to start protecting herself instead of relaxing into you. A secure signal here might sound like, I'm not in a rush with this. I want to make sure the right things align. Or later, when things are going well, I really like where this is going, and I'm happy to let it unfold at a pace that feels good for both of us. Statements like this tell her you have a life, standards, and emotional breaks. Emotional maturity is not just a nice bonus, it's the main filter. In a massive Match.com survey, emotional maturity came out as the #1 trait people want in a partner, even above physical attractiveness. That was based on answers from over 5,000 singles, which tells you how heavily women weigh this signal when they're deciding whether to really trust a man. Now, these 3 signals, direct intent, quality compliments, and emotional stability, are the foundation of the secure signal framework. They create safety, interest, and connection. But I have to give you a critical warning. If you only use these 3, you can accidentally build the perfect high-speed monorail straight into the friend zone. That's the guy who is clear, kind, and emotionally steady, but always leaves it up to her to decide what happens next, where you go, and how far things move physically. She appreciates him, but she doesn't feel that pull. Because these signals build comfort and trust, but they're missing the one ingredient that turns that comfort into real romantic tension. That ingredient is leadership, and the specific signals that communicate it are what we're covering next. The first signal of leadership, and the 4th in our framework, is gentle direction. This is about taking the lead in planning, but in a low-pressure way. From a woman's perspective, this is incredibly attractive because it reduces her mental load, the constant cognitive effort of making decisions. When she doesn't have to be the cruise director for every interaction, she can actually relax, feel taken care of, and sink into the moment with you. When women talk about their favorite dates, they almost always mention that he had a simple plan and made it easy for them to just show up. Here's how gentle direction works. Broken into 2 simple steps. First, you propose a specific plan. Second, you offer low-pressure options. So, instead of the classic vague, what do you want to do? You say, I'd love to take you to that coffee spot you mentioned. Would Thursday or Friday work for you? To her, that vague, what do you want to do? Question feels like you're tossing the responsibility back in her lap and admitting you have no real intention or leadership. But when you suggest something and then give her a choice, you provide structure and leadership while she still has agency. It feels collaborative, not controlling. Next, the 5th signal, deep curiosity. This is about leading the conversation beyond the surface. Most men stay stuck in resume mode, where she's from, what she does, what she's watching, and then wonder why the vibe feels flat. Deep curiosity moves you into the small group of men who actually make her feel something. You might have heard of the famous 36 questions study. In that experiment, pairs of strangers asked each other a series of gradually deeper questions and ended up feeling surprisingly close, even attracted, by the end. The principle is simple from a woman's perspective. When a man guides you into sharing your real stories, hopes, and fears, it creates a feeling of intimacy that small talk never touches. So instead of asking, what do you do for fun? You ask, what's something you're working on right now that you're genuinely excited about? Or, what makes you feel the most like yourself? Those questions pull her into her passions and identity. not just her schedule. You're not just gathering data. You're exploring her inner world. That makes her feel truly seen. Finally, the sixth and most potent signal, confident interest, built on what I call the want, don't need principle. The mindset is this: I want you, but I don't need you to validate my self-worth. Most guys get stuck between two bad options. They either flood her with attention and come off needy, or they shut down and play it cool so hard that she feels no real warmth or intention. Confident interest is what actually works in the middle. Your interest is a gift you're offering, not a plea for approval. When a man can express that calmly, women read it as grounded confidence, not desperation. Over and over, when women describe the guys they found most attractive, it's the ones who were clear they liked them, but never tried to rush or pressure anything. The one phrase that perfectly executes this is, I really like you, but I'm not trying to rush anything. It communicates clear desire while simultaneously demonstrating self-respect and patience. It's the definition of a secure signal. These signals of leadership, gentle direction, deep curiosity, and confident interest are what convert comfort into romantic tension. Underneath all three is the same message. You value yourself, you value her, and you're willing to lead the interaction instead of waiting to be chosen. But there is one final layer to this framework. This layer is the subtle difference between a man who is simply good with women and a man who builds deep, lasting connections. It's the mastery level, where you communicate unwavering self-respect. And those final signals are what we're covering right after this. The seventh signal, the first at this mastery level, is healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries don't build walls. They spell out how you expect to be spoken to, how you handle conflict, and what you will or won't continue with. From a woman's perspective, this is where simple attraction turns into deep respect. Boundaries equal emotional self-respect. Proof you won't sell yourself out to keep the peace or blow up later. Research on secure versus anxious attachment finds that people who can say no and ask for what they need report calmer, more trusting relationships than chronic people pleasers, and high-value women quietly screen for that. A man who can say, if something feels off, I'd rather talk about it with you instead of guessing, is choosing directness over silent resentment. When her tone suddenly shifts, the low boundary guy either panics and overcompensates or goes quiet and sulks. The man with healthy boundaries names it calmly, then moves on. On her side, that steadiness feels safe, and she can finally relax instead of monitoring your mood. And the eighth and final signal of the secure signal framework is intentional closing. This is mastery level communication because it shows how you handle endings and next steps. The moments where immature men usually get vague. Intentional closing means you end a conversation or a date with clear leadership. You say you enjoyed it, and you say what you want to happen next. When you say, I had a great time with you, let's do this again. Most women feel a wave of relief. No guessing, no waiting 3 days. Just a clear signal there's a next chapter. Instead of the usual, I'll hit you up, that often turns into silence and leaves her replaying everything. She knows where she stands with you. Studies on dating initiation find that clear, direct invitations lead to more second dates than vague, we should hang out sometime endings. Because clarity makes it easy to say yes. From a woman's perspective, this isn't about a clever line. It's about whether you can make simple, honest commitments and follow through. The reliability and seriousness high-value women are drawn to, not just charm. And with that, you now have all 8 signals of the secure signal framework. The earlier signals build attraction and safety in the moment. These last 2 reveal long-term emotional leadership, the gap between running tactics and being a man she can trust. Learning the signals is one step. Living them is the real shift. Next, we'll break down how that shift shows up in your dating life. The real difference is the feeling in your gut. Before, it's that constant, low-grade anxiety, overthinking every text, playing it cool, then watching another connection fizzle into silence. stuck guessing what she wants, thinking, I don't know what to say to make her feel it. From her side, it just looks like a guy who never sends a clear signal of intention or leadership, so she quietly backs away. The secure signal framework flips that. It's not about memorizing lines. It's the shift from vague, anxious communication to showing up as a secure presence whose words and actions consistently signal clear intention, calm leadership, and emotional safety. After, you are the man who is plain about what you want and where you're leading things. You speak with a gentle, grounded confidence because you're not trying to impress anymore, just expressing who you are. From a woman's perspective, that clarity feels like, I can relax with him. She doesn't have to decode your messages or test you. She can feel safe, respected, and excited in your presence. You stop guessing, and you start guiding. You become the man she quietly hopes to meet. So here is your mission. First, rewatch this video to let the mindset sink in. Second, pick one secure signal from this framework. How you state your intention, how you lead plans, or how you respond to her feelings. And commit to trying it this week. Third, if you want more tools that turn dating confusion into clear, confident action, hit subscribe so we can keep building this together.